friends, today we will be talking about very important issue, that is violence against doctors. And now this issue has been in the media for last 2-3 weeks, and because of the very unfortunate event that has happened in Rajasthan, where Dr Archana Sharma has committed suicide. And this has actually shook the whole medical community. To talk on this topic and to find a solution for it, me and Dr Pranav Sharma are here, and we will be talking about this issue. So welcome, Dr Pranav Sharma.
Hello.
And welcome back to this channel, and we will be talking in detail about this issue. A lot of viewers has actually requested about talk about the solution, what they can do to save themselves in this scenario. So we wanted your view, how actually we can go from here, because if you know that the whole environment, people cannot wait for government to take action or police to take action, and the law enforcement bodies. It is up to us. So how we should proceed?
Yeah, this violence against the doctors is actually a real problem. What has happened is, if we see all the doctors' whole career, 3 out of 4 doctors would have faced it, or they must have witnessed it in their career. And we have never addressed this point systematically, that what should be done by the doctors level, what should be they doing so that they can safeguard their interest and prevent the violence and other things.
Right.
That is, we thought about it, and we did a lot of brainstorming. In fact, we got the inputs from a lot of our community members also. We have all got it, we have compiled that knowledge, and we'll be sharing it.
Correct.
What happened in Jaipur last week, and we lost a very talented colleague, and there were some situations which lead to this disaster.
Right.
Situation should be tackled with.
Correct.
Because if you want to correct it, you have to correct it at the root cause. In fact, there is a way to deal with it, because see, this happens with anybody who is in public domain. He can be an IAS officer, he can be a policeman also, he can be a anybody who is dealing with public. Sometimes you can see cashiers are also suffering this in banks. So it is a real problem with that. But there are some mechanisms which you should be making so that you can safeguard the interest and you can work without any fear.
Yeah. So so all viewers, thank you for watching it, and we will tackle this problem in a more practical way, because whenever we have went and talked to a lot of senior doctors and associations and people even a lot of doctors in our community itself, we saw that there was a lot of theoretical knowledge, but there was lack of implementation, because those solutions were not practical enough. So we wanted to do our research, and we did that, and now we are presenting to you that some of it could be your solution, which you can implement from tomorrow. So let us begin and understand from Dr. Pranav Sharma in more detail how those can be implemented.
Violence against doctors, let us understand bit by bit, and let us find out solutions at first thing is that why it happens. We will discuss about what are the reasons creating it, how we mitigate the effect, what to do in case of violence it is already occurring, and how to prepare yourself. These 4 parts we will be discussing. First is why it happens. So the core thing, or the basic problem whenever there is a violence or there is a complaining from the doctor, for a doctor, from the patient end or patient related end, the problem is actually in the quality of services and trust. The trust deficit is the main problem whenever there is a violence or any agitation against the doctors. What happens is actually there's a lot of negative perception is there in the society, because it always comes in the news. The positive thing never comes in the news.
Yeah.
So we have to actually put forward our positive things which we are doing, the good things we are doing continuously in the web, in the public domain, and let the people know that we are doing a good job. Sometimes they feel that whatever processes we are doing, whether billing is there or it is very non-transparent, they are not shown things which are happening with them. Lack of empathy has happened because a lot of patients or workload is increasing, and there is genuine lack of or poor communication is there. 4 things are very core to the problem. Next is, we are not keeping the patient interest in center. What does it mean by that? Even if we are not able to hold the patient, or if the patient's signs symptoms are going beyond our control, we are trying to keep him with us. Because of there is a fear of revenue, there is pressure from above, for the yearly targets or the pressure of targets. and bad public perception then develops. Then there are some genuine issues of people or the patients which are not addressed. It can be from the cleanliness to the answering, to the explaining to the patient, and any food problems. These are all issues which are there, which go unaddressed. We don't give a lot of importance to it, but it makes a lot of importance to the patient per se who is staying away from the home and spending the day and night in the hospital.
Right.
Fourth is that our front staff or emergency staff is not properly trained in soft skills. It is very, very important because first impression is the last impression, and we don't train them in empathy and dealing with the patient, the soft skills. Then our processes and systems are still archaic and too cumbersome. We ask the patient related to go here and there to get this chit and this signing. There are a lot of streamlining of the work should be done. That is very essential in today's time. There's no enough deterrent which has been shown in the clinic or hospital setup. We don't tell them or we don't show them that this violence is not acceptable. And if you do it or if somebody else does it, what are the provisions of law and what can be done to them? And that way there is no deterrent is shown in most of the hospitals they've seen.
So it is not like people, even though there is a law and there are provisions, we are not showing to the patients and the relatives of the patient that what could be the consequence of violence.
Yeah.
So though no signages are there in the hospitals or clinics.
Then we are not doing any process audit, people audit or policy audit. Once we start the hospital, just it is going on and keep treating the patient. But these are the important things which we should be seeing from time to time, and auditing and corrective action should be taken. And we are not spending on the human resources training. Only when an NABH inspection comes, we train the staff. It's not like that. It should be a continuous program, and continuous training should happen, especially the soft skills and the routine skills. Then we have to develop our own leadership skills. We have to grow and do the self-development. Then only our outcome will improve. Right. Once you learn something in a college, it doesn't remain with you all the time. You continuously evolve and improve that.
Correct. You see, if you are not becoming leader, how you will actually train your own staff? So you yourself growth and transformation should happen. Otherwise, your staff will also be there. Your system will be like that only, and it will remain old and inefficient.
Still.
Yeah.
And 10th point is there is no support system. See, we are actually so much engrossed or we're busy in our work that we don't become a part of a community, or we don't have a support system. We feel that is a waste of time and energy, and we will rather than इससे अच्छा मैं एक दो patient ही देख लेता हूँ. This is the approach which is normally there, and the community which will help you when you are really in need. So if you don't develop that kind of a network, then you will suffer.
And this community support and be active in a community, a lot of people join a lot of association, but those association is not working cohesively, or you are not actually active enough to get their support. So it is very important to be in a group which is a like-minded people. So and in these 10 points, people will feel that we are talking only about their fault, and people will think that we are pointing to them. But the fact is that we have to look inside. We cannot. There are other external factors. Yes, there are factors which are not in your control, which are not your fault. But we are not talking about that. Okay, that has been talked in media a lot of time, in your association. You know all of them. Here what we are talking is what is the fault that we are doing. Okay, as a doctors, in our doctors community, we are committing mistakes, and which we can actually solve, and that can actually reduce the violence against doctors. So that is the different perspective, the different angle which we wanted to take care, and that is why the whole 10 points is focused on what we have or are doing wrong. Okay.
Now, how to mitigate the effect? How to minimize the problem? See, you should be aware about the local people behavior. Basically, everybody will understand that there is a difference in the local people behavior when it comes to various problems.
Correct.
There can be aggressive mindset. There can be laid down mindset. There are more educational background is whatever is there. So you should be understanding what is your local person's like. Second point is you should not the CCTV must be there. It should be 360 degree, be working, and it should see it from time to time. Minimum recording should be done for the unknown.
Coverage, invest in it. so that you have a very good state of the art the setup, because this will come handy when there is something wrong, and even in the medical legal problem also it will help a lot.
And even if it is written that you are under CCTV, guidance, surveillance, it is also a deterrent.
Yeah.
Then the power of signaling. You should be signaling in a proper way. And how do you do that? Basically, you can have signages which will show the consequence of violence against the hospital and doctor staff. Have a bouncer or security guard. You can get a person from the army background also. He can make rounds. And you can show the strength without any intimidation. Even if he's doing nothing, he's just going around the corridors and asking a few things to few people. It makes a big deterrence.
Correct.
We will not take anybody lightly and not start any small things.
Right.
And then involve people. See other relatives or other people. Tell them that you have to find out the people who are creating these miscreants, because any act of violence will impact their patients also.
Correct.
So we have to take the other people in our confidence.
Right.
That is, they will come handy if there is a violence.
Should be there. And then involve people, that Dr. Pranav has said that we can take 98% of people who are good, who do not go to the violence. They should actually be in your support, and they should understand that if something happens to doctor, then their patient will be first affected. So they can talk to the people who are creating ruckus, and they can stop them. So involve people, very important point, very important.
Next point, fourth number is you should have an emergency algorithm. It should be there that there are violet codes and purple codes which are there in NABH for any action, any violence against doctor or healthcare person. But important is that you should be continuously training for them. And there should be mock drills for it also. Just like there's a mock drill for fire and bomb blast and all those things, there should be a mock drill for this kind of violence instance also.
At least once in a year, it should be done, so that your staff is also trained and you are also aware, and there is an algorithm which people follow. So at least once in a year, you should follow that drill.
And fifth point is to divide it into two parts. First is full documentation. You should do proper, and consent should not be underestimated. Do it in a detailed consent and with the patient and patient-related education, and give some time. And a senior doctor should give the time for this detailing of the consent, because if the questions are not, sometimes what happens, patient-related asks some tricky questions, and they should be answered by the senior person.
Second part is a kind of a hack, I can say. It's a very important hack.
So it is that you should always take a audio and video consent. And then you should upload it on the same day on the Google Drive. It has two advantages. One is that audio video consent is taken, so you cannot, they cannot deny it later on. Second thing, if you have put it on a Google Drive, there will be timestamp on it. And if the timestamp is seen, then you can, even if the case goes in a court of law, then the timestamp will tell that this was taken before the procedure.
Yeah. So that is very important point which came up while discussing with community members, that this is a form of consent which nobody can deny. Okay. Now neither a doctor or the patient can deny that they are not told about the outcome or about the risk or in their language, and a lot of issues which people deny can be actually removed when there is an audio video consent form or recording, and that recording is uploaded on a cloud like Google Drive, because Google Drive has a timestamp, so they know that at what time it was uploaded. Now nobody can change it. So even if there is some problem in the future, you can always show to the court that before the surgery or before any patient treatment, this was told to them. Now if all other legal things falls flat, if they have filed against you, so this is very important, and it is saved for forever. If you buy additional space on Google Drive for a few thousand rupees.
Next is you should always have an emergency escape route. See, we are not telling you to run away, but then if things are going beyond your control, then you should have a way out. That should be always, you should plan it whenever you are constructing your hospital or building your hospital, emergency escape route. And then very important, you should always have proper insurance and indemnity coverage. It will definitely help in a big way. And they also provide legal assistance or lawyers in case of filing of case and fight the case. So our Indian Medical Association has a module for indemnity, and all the private players are also giving. So it is always a better idea to get it, and should cover it adequately.
So these are the some of the ways where you can mitigate the effect. If you want to take a snapshot, you can take the snapshot of this points and think about it, and you start implementing from tomorrow onwards. Okay, nobody, there's nothing which stops you from doing this thing, so you can do it tomorrow. No permission from authority or no laws to be passed, just your steps you have to take. Coming to the what to do in case of violence. Yeah.
So there are some things we can plan. So first thing is, you should the direct confrontation should be avoided. Always ask your junior or subordinate or nurse to talk to the patient and patient related directly, and don't get into direct confrontation. Especially, you should not raise your voice when you're dealing with the patient, because that escalates the whole problem. So you have a second level which you can enter at any point of time. You should remain calm and mature while you're discussing. You should not be arrogant, but at the same time, you should be strong enough to put the point across that whatever was done, it was in the best interest, and 100% has been done by the hospital. Don't react, but respond with proper authority. You need not fear them, but need not intimidate them also. Then you should always preserve medical records. There's one point which is missed normally. What happens is that there's medical records are taken away by the patient party. They take it out and then they take a photocopy of that, and some of the medical records are also destroyed. So you should always keep a medical record in a safe place, and you should make a photocopy for that, and especially you should preserve it whenever such an event is happening.
Yeah, I think the process can be made, SOPs can be made, that every night all the records can be scanned and put in the digital format. And if you have right HIMS, the functionality is already there. You have to just form a process, and a responsible or accountable person should be given this work. It is very important, because when some document will come handy, you never know. So it is better to keep everything in a digital format.
Then your subordinate should be capable enough, and you should call the police and lawyer in time. There should be one person. This will be happening only if you do the routine drills. Unless you practice for this thing will not come reflexly whenever the calamity strikes.
Yeah.
So this has to be done in repeated way.
One person in your staff should have this responsibility of calling the police and lawyer whenever something is going in your setup. So one person should be very given a full authority to responsibility to calling the police and lawyer.
One of the team members should be actually filming the whole event. He should be identifying people and giving the responsibility. So he should be actually coordinating the whole crime scene from a distance, and silently he should be collecting the evidences.
Correct. And that person should not involve himself or herself in the fight. He should be given mandate to actually film the event. That's it. His contribution, and it should be very, very clear to him or her.
Then you should have a emergency call to the doctor's local group members. There are a lot of communities are there, WhatsApp groups and things like that.
Yeah.
You should always help one another, and doctors should be helping one another in crisis times.
And there are a lot of IMA groups, local regional groups, local WhatsApp group, and we have seen that there are local group which has actually make a pact within themselves that something happens in their setup, all of them will come. So if you are also part of such group, you should be calling them immediately. You should drop a message and call them.
Then you should vacate the premises as soon as possible. This is actually a little tricky thing, because sometimes you need to stay back, but you should know when to vacate. Right?
Because if you stay there, the things will only get worse. So vacating the premises is good, and that's why the emergency escape route come handy.
And in case of death of the patient, very important is not to withhold the body. Most of the cases happens in this scenario. You should avoid these instances. A proper planning, proper financial planning also, and advance and all those things should be done. But if the patient unfortunately dies, then you should not stop the body. And in the case of pending bills or things like that, yeah, it actually facilitates the whole thing so that the dead body can reach its destination or the home in a very safe manner.
Absolutely, this is like 80% of the cases happen in this scenario, and you should be letting it go. Sometimes maybe 1 day or 2 day charges may be left, and it was to be recovered from the relatives, but if you can actually facilitate and let go that amount, it will help you on overall scenario. And
Because
if
what
you
I have
see,
seen is that if you allow the facilitated going away of the dead body, the patient party actually pays. And if you stop it, then they'll go to the other extreme and
yeah.
file a case.
So, and this is not happening in every cases. Like every day, this is not must be happening in your setup, and should not be happening. And if it happens once in a while, I think it is better to let go rather than just be very money minded in terms of getting the charges back and stopping the body and all those things. And then the whole problem start creating. So it is always, we think once in a while, if this happens, please let it go, and you can earn a lot of money. But somebody's that has happened, and it is really difficult time for all the family member, and if they are not very well financed, then they might not be able to give it. So let it go, and it will help you in longer run. Okay, because this is one of the space where that human touch is required. And if you do it once in a while, it will come back. It is a karma principle, it will come back. Try to understand in the longer run, it is the best policy.
Now we'll discuss some of the important points that how do you prepare yourself? What are the day in and day out changes which are there, which if done in time, they can prevent this and abolish this.
Correct. And again the focus is about how you can do it. Okay, there is nothing, no external factors, only what are the factors are in your control and you can actually implement it. Okay,
what changes you can have in yourself so that you prevent this. So there's a mindset changes. See, we should accept that all the public facing professions we have discussed, they have such issues and everywhere it is there. It is not that we are alone suffering this problem. Yes, our patients are a different set of patients. We are asked to have a lot of compassion. But then once again, if you can see a IAS journey or a journey of anybody who is dealing with public domain, they have these incidents day in and day out. So you have to find a way out and not remain the victim mindset all the time.
So we have to accept that this is the part of this professional. And yes, in ideal situation this should not happen. Public should behave, you should be able to treat patient and all those things are in the ideal. But in the practicality, it might happen. A lot of issues happens. Police may not be able to save you that moment of time. So what is this? First is acceptance of this, that this is okay. We should not be always cribbing about these things.
Second point is that you're not the only one facing such difficulty in life. There are people, they have a lot of problems. And these problems, you have to fight it out. If there is no problem, there is no life.
Yeah.
Basically, whenever there is a problem, you should get other people help, as well as find out new and innovative way to solve the problem.
Exactly.
Not to succumb the problem.
Yes. And see, healthcare domain itself is very challenging. Okay, and you have come to this far, that means you have done a lot of hard work. And now if you are facing difficulties, everyone has some kind of difficulty. Now you are capable, you are in this situation, you are capable of facing this difficulty. You cannot say that I have done enough, I have studied 20 years and I practiced for 5 years, now I have done enough, I will not face, there will be difficulties. So we do not have to run away from difficulty, but face it and solve it in a proper way.
Third point is that once again, we should not be in a victim mindset. We should develop a victory mindset. Basically, life is about all the challenges, and whenever you think in the perspective of positive perspective, the whole the outcome changes, the outlook changes, the outcome changes.
Exactly. And if you go from a victim mindset to victory mindset, so if I see the comments on the post on social media and a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of TV material, everywhere it was victim mindset, that we have been under so much pressure and there is no law protecting us. Yes, those are all, everything is correct. Those are absolutely correct statements. But how we can deal with, there are only two ways: fight and flight. So what do you want? Do you want to flight from facing the problem, or do you want to fight it? That's it. So if you change your mindset, not being victim but for the victory, how you can victory over fear, that is what will change the whole thing for you. So please Do not talk in the victim language. Stop talking about that we are the only one who are suffering. I will not make my children doctors. All this small things, small statement actually goes in the mind, and again reinforces that this is a place which is very wrong. We should not be doing this, and this is very wrong. And suddenly everything wrong again start happening in your life. This is a full circle. You start behaving in a particular manner, and circumstances also become negative. So remove that victim mindset with the victory mindset, and start fighting with the circumstances.
The fourth point is profession is important, but it is not about your life. The life doesn't end there.
Yep.
See, professionally, you must have worked. You have worked hard. You have got the laurels also. You got the training, and still, even after all this, if something wrong happens, see, life doesn't end there. Life will be fresh and anew every day, and you have to be prepared for that. Yeah. And that was the fear, I think, that day Archana would be having in her mind, that I am doomed. My profession, what will I do? If there is 302 or 304, how will I manage it? Who will come to my rescue? So life is bigger than your profession.
Yeah.
You understand that? And there are a lot of ways you can actually fight it, or you can also change the course.
Yes.
There is always an option there, and you should always exercise the option, because see, by doing that extreme step, she did not solve the problem. We have empathy with her, and the police should take all the proper action. But the way she had taken this challenge, it was not required, right?
Yeah, absolutely correct, sir. It was not required, and it was, I think, it could have been avoided. And if she had a larger vision, that what has happened, like if even if 302 was registered against her, FIR was there, but it was still to be proven in the court of law, right? And that would require a legal thing. Only thing she actually was, she doesn't have a support system or the community who can tell her that everything will be fine, and you don't have to worry. Even the max what will happen, like you can count on the medical negligence. Your license can be taken away from it, but you can do a lot of things in healthcare, right? There are a lot of things, lot of profession and entrepreneurship. You can go into a lot of other stuff. Taking your own life will not be an answer to any problem. So in that way, it was very unfortunate, but it could have been avoided also. And we urge all the listeners who are listening to this and watching this, do not take any extreme step in any problem that you are facing. How bad it is appearing right now, life is much bigger than. If it is for your life, even just think about the people who are loving you in your family. So coming to the building your influence. Okay, now this is again in your hand, but it should be done with the awareness.
So how can you build your influence? First thing is that you should develop interconnections in the healthcare domain. You should be having a group of doctors or support system which can help you in time of crisis. The different associations are there. You should join the various forums and attend various events. It is not actually a waste of your time. See, in medical training or medical studies, we are groomed or we are trained in such a way that whatever is not medicine, whatever is not clinical is waste of time. So we have this mindset, but networking is equally important, and you should have friends all across the associations as well as even the non-medical. Then you should have friends which are influential and powerful personality are there in the city, in the healthcare domain. Right? Because they are the influencers, and they will actually change the mindset of the people.
Yes, because see, these are the people whom you can look up to, and they can solve a lot of problems for you also. So it is always good to have those people in your circles.
Third point is that there are many politicians which are from a healthcare background. You have good relations with them, because somewhere if the politics get involved, then you will also have some rescue.
Correct. And these people understand the whole psyche of a doctor, the environment, so they can help you. So do not get afraid that they have become politician. They will not entertain you. Try to make friends with them. Okay.
And you should importantly networking platforms like Lions Club and Rotary Club. These also can come handy, because there are a lot of people who are non-doctors in this club.
Yeah.
In fact, there will be a lot of mixing of the ideas, and many good things can come out of it.
Correct. So the whole point is that within the even the healthcare community, if you make a good network and take time out of it, uh, don't think about that the time that you have spent in these forums and in the association networking is a waste of time. When it will come handy, you never know. Okay. And not only in the legal phase, it could be become partnership. You are now a doctorpreneur, you are having your own setup, you are into some kind of entrepreneurship. So it is always good to have a good solid network that can help in not only in business but in the legal troubles, in the medical legal issues, or any kind of trouble. So it is good to have some time for these kind of events as well.
And you have to actually see the whole ecosystem. It's not only the doctors, but anybody who is influencing that ecosystem. You should make friends with them and make a workable relationship with all these people. Then you should make important friends outside the healthcare also. Please make some friends outside the healthcare. See, you should have one good lawyer who should be your friend. Then one person should be influential in the media. Third is you should have one high rank and low rank official in district headquarters and local police. And you should have some influential businessman or social or religious leader who are actually standing by your side. These are the main influencers, because these are the people who are having their own influence over the community also at a large. And sometimes what happens, these people, you will have to favor them sometime. We should not restrict ourselves from doing that. It is actually once again an investment,
right,
in relationship. If you are good for them, they will come to you handy whenever there is a problem.
See, this is a kind of social currency you are developing. Okay, so once you have done something for them, they will be also feel obliged to help you. So in your friendship circle, you should have a good lawyer. Very important. You should have one person from media, one person from police, maybe higher authority and lower authority as well, and one to two person from social, religious, business community as well. So all these things, if you just tick mark in your circle that I have few very close friend in this positions, it will help you. And it is not to take advantage of their position, but whenever something bad happens, you have somebody to follow upon. Okay, so this is very important. You have to maybe you have to go a way out and reach out to them. And so your ego should not be in between. You should have this thing in mind that this is for everyone's good, and I will be helpful to them, they will be helpful to me, and it will help me one day when there's a requirement. Because we don't do till something bad happens, right? And then when something bad happens, we feel that we are alone. Why you are alone? Because in the last 10 years you have done nothing. You have not gone outside, you have not intermingled with anybody, you have not helped anybody. Then how you will develop a good network? See, network is your net worth. Whatever money you are is there in the bank balance is okay, but if you don't have a good influential people in your friend list, then something bad is happened, then you will not have any friend from a shoulder to cry on. And these people can actually help you out. Even one idea or one pat on your back can save your life. You might be taking some extreme step, and suddenly someone come and tell you, calm you down, and it will save your life. So please take all these points very, very seriously, and they are very practical points. Okay,
in fact, these people can be just a phone call away and they'll respond in no time.
Yeah,
you made good relationship with them.
Right. And join and helping community of like-minded people. See, community and develop your own supporting ecosystem is the best point you can have out of this whole discussion. So if you have a very good vibrant community where like-minded people are there, then it can help you a lot, because all of them are facing similar situations, and they might have a very good innovative solution which you can help. They might have a good connection with somebody which can help you. So you should be in a very good community and association, whatever group, Facebook, WhatsApp, a paid community, unpaid community. You should be in that community where your value system align. There is a value system in that community, and people have a common sense of belongingness, right? So these are
can motivate you, it can bring you out of depression.
Correct.
Help you the time when you really go down.
Professionally, personally, they can help you, right? And you also are always helping. That is also very important. Give back to society. And that is what Dr. Pranav, we also tell to all of us in the community, our community members, that give back to society. That is the biggest.
And that will come back to you.
Yeah, because see, if you give back not only in money but your time and talent also, and not only in your peers, doctors, also the non-medical people, when the things will come handy, you never know. So always be in the giving mode, helping people, so that when the time comes, there are people to help you as well. Okay.
There are a
So
lot of laws are there. There are multiple laws. There was an epidemic law, and there was a violence against doctors law. All these links are there below this video. But we will emphasize again and again that you should be actually working and building towards your network. Strong networking, strong signaling, and proper patient care, which is the most important thing.
Correct. These 3 points are nutshell of this finding. And if you really want to see what the legal laws, there are links below this video. You can download those laws, understand them. We are not talking about those laws because you can find the details of those everywhere. We are talking about the practical aspect, how things you can actually do and implement right away from tomorrow onwards, right? So those are the doable things which we have talked about. And if you want the PDF of this checklist which we have right now discussed, again the link is below this video. You can download it and keep it as your checklist. And yes, if you have any suggestions, please write in the comment box, and we will see it and reply to it, and it will help the whole community. And we also have a very vibrant, good community of Doctorpreneur Academy. If you really want to join us, there's a link below this video. You can come and join us. There is already 5,000 doctors who are in the community, and we really believe that if we have reached Dr Archana Sharma, and she been a member of this community, we could have stopped this thing. We really believe that thing. And sadly, she was not a member, and we were not able to help her, and nobody was able to help her, and that is very sad and unfortunate. And we pray to God that this kind of thing or event never happens again in the doctors community in India, at least. So please be very, very aware about all those things, and please be together.
Let me tell you one last point, that if you will follow these steps, it is not only the violence will be decreased, but your working environment will improve like anything.
Yeah.
These are actually the core concepts which I discussed today. And these are things which we can do. We can start doing from today itself.
Correct.
Please be aware about your surroundings and take the corrective steps.
Yeah. Fantastic. See you around. We will come again for the next video. I hope you have liked the video, and whatever freebies are there are below the videos. And if you want to join our community also, please click the link below, and we will see you inside. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.